Welcome, everyone. Today I'm joined by Stefan Surratt, the creator of Dragon Peak Publishing and the co-host of the Rules is Written show, hosted on the Goodman Games Twitch channel. Stefan also has an upcoming Kickstarter launching on January 17th for DCC, Elfland Beyond the Fields You Know. Thanks for being here today, Stefan. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to be on here, Mr. Berger.
Yeah. I know it's a long time coming, but I'm glad you finally got another Kickstarter going, because I really enjoyed your last one. For anybody unaware, I actually just did a review of it earlier in the month. And I'm
hmm
not even that big of an MCC guy, but I thought it was really, really great.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a fun one to do, and I've probably got one more good zine like that for MCC in me that I've got an outline for, but we'll see. It's I don't
That's
know.
somewhere in the
I don't
future.
the TP whatever. This industry does not like pay enough big bucks out there for me to not follow what my passion is. So I
Yeah,
got like an
no.
outline, but I just write whatever I kind of want at the moment.
No, I think it's a good way to be for that sort of stuff. Was that your first Kickstarter, or was that?
Merchants of the Multiverse was the first one. That was a Zine Quest one a couple years ago now.
Oh, okay.
So, and that was just like I knew the me and Bozen. Oh, he wrote the like little adventure in there and did all the art. And me and him knew each other from doing Quarantine, which is there's a couple issues that they're like any money that was everyone just volunteered their time for that thing. Proceeds, any profits went towards a COVID relief fund for families who had like folks
Oh,
who had
that's
lost their
great.
jobs. So I knew him. We both kind of wanted to do something, and we just went, okay, well, I can do this side of things. You can do that side of things. We don't actually need to invest any money, which we're, we're both very hesitant first time, and we just split things 50-50, and we get back together a little bit, and he's a stellar artist. So keep on having him do stuff.
But one thing I want to ask you before we get to their Kickstarter stuff, like, how'd you get into RPGs? Like, when did you get into the whole RPG hobby thing?
It was I was about 14 or 15. 3.5 was out, which meant all the 3.0 stuff was on like big sales, and the
Oh
stores were
yeah.
trying to get rid of them. So me and my broke friends could afford a couple things. One of them bought the box set for 3.0. I got to play Lydia the Halfling Rogue, and I thought it was cool. I wanted to play like a big fighter dude, but then I saw the huge list of skills, and I was like, yeah, I can do anything. Um, that's what I was thinking at the time. So I did that and did not get to the end of the box set adventure. I got trapped in a magic mirror for all eternity and walked home that day thinking like, oh man, I would have loved to have made it to the end. And that would have been really cool. I could have won D&D. But I just basically didn't stop thinking about gaming ever since then.
No, that I feel like that is like a common story for a lot of people. You just get that first game, and then it's a downward spiral for the rest of your
Mhm.
life after that. There's no coming back from it.
Yeah. I mean, my dad was like reading me The Hobbit and Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe. My dad's an English teacher, so he's reading like those stories to me as like a 5 year old. So it's like he didn't know it, but he put me on the path like
Oh yeah, no,
100%.
it's all his fault. Absolutely. Just
Yeah.
actually, one thing I want to know about this, because I know, I've seen you play other stuff other than just DCC and MCC, because I've
hmm
seen you talk about other stuff like around the Discord and other things. Is there a reason why you chose like DCC and MCC for like that's what you want to make for? Versus, I mean, I'm sure not that you're locking off any
Yeah.
doors, but just like right now, is there any reason like why you chose those first?
It was it was the thing that I'd always thought about things, done a lot of homebrew. I probably in like the first 10 years of me playing games, running games, there's probably like one or two modules that I ever touched. It was all homebrew, which was mostly like really bad stuff, just like ripping off the TV shows and crap that we love.
Oh yeah.
So I was always making stuff. And DCC was just the thing that I had fallen in love with.
Mm.
The game system. I started out in 3.5, done fourth, done tried to get my friends to do some OSR stuff, done fifth. Did a 1 to 20 campaign in fifth.
Oh wow.
And it was just like I've made the sausage. I know exactly how it's made. I want I want something else. I don't want ham anymore.
Yeah.
But I saw someone talking about Mighty Deeds online, and that was the thing for me. I saw someone describe how the Mighty Deed of Arm Mechanic solved the boring fighter who just swings and does the same thing every turn, while the wizard gets real options, but also solved the issue of having to do like character building and like planning so
Yeah.
that by level 8 you can trip anything on 4 legs and most things on 6.
That is
Um,
really funny because that's exactly what got me
yeah.
into as well. I came from the I came from the 5e era because I only got into it like when I was 19 or so. I think back like in 2017 or so. And it's funny because I was doing 5e as well, and that was like I heard about the Mighty D. My friend showed me DCC. I saw the Mighty D thing, and I was like, oh, this is what I want. This is
Yeah.
way more my style. Wait, did you guys actually make it to level 20 in your 5e campaign?
We did. So I ran a 1 to 20 campaign. I used a lot of on DM's Guild there's a thing, classic modules today. And I also used a conversion guide for Temple of Elemental Evil that was done by Death Trap Games before Goodman Games did their thing. So I did Village of Hamlet, Temple of Elemental Evil. Uh, I'm trying to think about in what order after that, but I did Lost Caverns of Sajkanth, Dungeon Land. Like I tried to do like the best of Gary, and then it around like level 14, it was like, all right, we got a homebrew. Like Gary didn't write that much at this level, and some of it was not the best of Gary. So like level 14 was me mostly on the fly converting the DCC adventure, the Star Wound of Abaddon for which is like level 3 DCC for level 14 5e. And
Yeah.
then I did like the 998th Conclave of Wizards. And at one point, I just described the cover of Colossus Arise. And my player, but that wasn't like the thing I had prepared. But all the players were like, "That sounds cool! A headless Titan in the desert. Let's go do that right now." And I was like, so I ran that for like level 16 5e people.
Oh
This
my god.
level 6 DCC adventure without ever having even read it. I just like been like, oh, okay, that looks cool. That's a cool cover. Just described it, whipped out the PDF, and was like skimming through, just doing things right then, no
Oh
preparation.
my god, that's
Didn't
great.
even know how the adventure ended.
that's
Um,
that's actually
so
amazing. That's really impressive.
and then level 20 was a homebrew. You have a like Magitech mecha thing built out of the skeleton of that Titan Colossus from Colossus Arise. Go into space and fight a thing while you're being like sucked in around the stars. And it was like it's the only session that I've ever done. It was a 4 hour session and it was like 90% combat, but it was awesome because the battlefield was so dynamic and it was just
Yeah.
like, how does this like Titan skeleton covered in adamantine and magic, and we've got a Robo Beholder head on top. How does it work? Can I do this? And I was like, sure, because I made all that crap up too. I didn't have that much prepared. So everyone was the only 4 hour session of combat I've ever had that was actually really amazing.
Dude, that actually sounds amazing. I think that might be the first time I've heard of like a level like 1 to 20 5e campaign that actually sounds like super fun
Yeah.
because almost every other one I've heard just including the ones that I've done that I never even got to level 20 just eventually become a slog, but I found that
Yeah.
actually sounds like a pretty amazing ending.
It was definitely milestone too, and near the end it was like my kid was about to be born, so I was like, all right, you guys get 2 levels this time. Uh, but we got to 20 and they did a session at 20.
That's amazing. Oh my god. Do you have any advice for anybody who's looking to do like zines or any sort of Kickstarters of this sort of level? Like, is there anything that you learned that you would be like, don't do this or
Mm-hmm.
definitely do this? That
There's some really good advice on like pre-recorded stuff by Tony on the Plus One EXP channel about like Zine Quest and Zine Month and marketing, and there's a little bit of layout, and there's a video with Ian Usem. He's a big mothership guy. Um, he did what the Drain. He worked on Gradient Descent,
oh, okay,
probably some
cool.
and some other stuff. I I don't play as much Mothership as I buy
Me,
or
yeah,
read.
I'm the exact
Uh,
same way. Grain Descent's really cool, but I've still have not run after like owning it for like 3 years now or something. It's been
yeah. But he gave a really good video, and he also has a blog that has a lot of really good information. He did like a huge analytical thing of Zine Month this past year of like which system sold the best, system agnostic or Mothership or Morkborg or whatever. Was it a toolkit or an adventure? He did like a really, really, really good breakdown. So I'd recommend checking out those two resources. But for merchants of, I mean, but you don't have to be that prepared. You really don't. I was not prepared with Merchants of the Multiverse. I had a list of a bunch of artifacts. I had a weird equation of like how to trade artifacts because there's like nothing in the MSMC core rulebook. It says like no one would ever do that. They're too valuable. But it also lists credit values and credit just being like an accepted exchange amount, not like they have Star Wars credits, but it lists like a little bit. So I based it off almost nothing. made like a little equation for like if it's rare, if it's consumable, if it's somewhat common for an artifact, like a battery or something. Um, and had one merchant, and we were preparing when we launched the Kickstarter. We had four pieces of art. One was the cover, um, and they were all on the page because we wanted to show off our art. Um, and it was great art. But and then during the course of the campaign, it's like, okay, let's write like some quests. Let's write like some like a quest hook type things, just premises. Let's write some weird tables. Let's write six more merchants. Let's write a little adventure. We were just doing everything as we went, so we were not prepared. And it was I charged the shipping that I thought I should charge based off of past Kickstarters that I had backed. I didn't really know. Shipping can be the biggest thing that can kill
Yeah,
you if you accidentally
absolutely.
charge too little. And
Absolutely.
then my shipping cost for my last Kickstarter, my overall shipping cost, like in the US, out of the US, it was around $1,000 and just mailing junk out.
Oh my god.
So get your shipping right. Otherwise, you might have a bad time.
Yeah, no, especially these days because shipping is so like all over the place. Like currently, I mean, it's a little bit better now, I guess, though. But yeah,
It,
it was pretty
yeah,
touch and go there
it's
for a few
been
years.
volatile.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, you never know if it's just gonna change at any point. But no, okay, that's pretty good. I'll add those links that you mentioned down in the show notes for anybody who wants to check
Yeah,
out those
I'll try to
resources.
find them and shoot them over to you, so it's easy. You don't have to
Perfect.
hunt them too much.
Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, and this is gonna be more that one that I guess will divide the audience a little bit. But like for a year, if you can only play one, would you pick DCC or MCC?
I would probably pick DCC because you can throw in that science fantasy anyway. You got
Yeah,
frozen in time and stuff, so you can get plenty of that weirdness.
I assume that'd be your answer, but you never know if somebody's gonna be like, no,
Yeah.
MCC all the way or anything like that. Though,
A little bit of my choice for doing like an MCC zine first was like I want to stand out a little bit. I know from like last year because I backed a bunch of DCC things, little zines. There's going to be a bunch more of that, but I don't think there was a single MCC one.
yeah,
So if I do that, I'll be the only guy doing it probably, and I
no,
was.
totally. And also that the great thing about Zine too is that it works for MCC, but it also works for other stuff as well because it has enough weird stuff in
Hmm.
it, but also has enough just general post-apocalyptic themes in it. You can use that for other post-apocalypse games you might be running. So, which I like that a lot because I don't know how much MCC I'll necessarily run, but I definitely see myself running some more weird post-apocalypse games in the future at some point and probably using that. Um, did you actually, speaking of, did you do all the tables and all that for that part? Because I know Darren did the scenario. Did you do everything
Hmm.
else or?
I did everything else. For mysteries, he did the adventure. I basically punched up one room. There's a bathroom and there's some mushrooms you can eat.
Oh my.
And I I put some Alice in Wonderland style mushrooms in there. People can probably guess what I mean, but
Yeah.
there was and he had it so that it's like this mushroom spindling. I just added like a color to the
Yeah.
mushroom description. So I did that so it was a little bit easier for the judge to describe to people. And I made two of them different, but besides that, I just did basic editing for the adventure. But the rest of it's me.
That's great. Yeah, actually, I didn't mention this in the review, but that was actually a really fun scene because we had one player who ate every one of the mushrooms because basically eventually just started getting egged on by the other players just to keep doing it, and we just started going off the different colors. He just started going down the list, and by the end of it, he was a freakish looking thing after the different things those mushrooms do to you. I won't spoil anything, but it was very funny. We had a lot of fun with that part.
Absolutely. Good. That was 100% the intent. Just
Yeah.
have fun. Like I think every adventure should have the opportunity for the PCs to eat something weird.
Yeah, absolutely. There's I believe it's Intrigue of the Court of Chaos. There's a room like that. I won't say too much for spoilers, but there's a room
Mhm.
like that in that one, and that was a really fun puzzle where it's same sort of thing where it just messes with the players a lot. And I think players also
Yeah.
always enjoy, especially DCC type players who are like there to have weird experiences in their RPGs. So it has to be
I
fun.
I played that a long time ago. As I recall, s- someone left that room with a permanent like glow on them, and I think they were also, yeah, and they were also pregnant. They became pregnant.
Oh yeah, I was really hoping one of them would get that one because I thought that'd be really funny. But unfortunately, they solved the puzzle too quickly because they're too smart. But it was fun outside of that.
My
Um,
group was not. I was playing in it. My group was not smart. It took a few tries and some heavy-handed hints from the judge.
That's hilarious. No, I love that adventure just because puzzles can be a little bit weird, but the puzzles in that one I think are a great one to take from in terms of like inspiration for making solid puzzle design. Um, but yeah, actually, now we should actually probably talk about your actual Kickstarter coming up. What can you tell us about it? Because I know there's not. It's coming out on January 17th, so there's not too much out there like on
Hmm.
the page itself. So, what can you tell us?
Um, yeah, it's coming out on the 17th. It'll run for 21 days. It is called Elfland Beyond the Fields We Know. And if you back on day one, you get a free patch. Uh, the color of the patch is up for voting. And if we hit a certain stretch goal, there'll at least be a sticker of the alternate color.
Sweet.
So that I took a vote on the Dungeon Crawlers Discord channel, and it was perfectly tied. So the vote continues. Team Green and Team Red. Um, but to talk a little bit more about it, so Elfland Beyond the Fields We Know is the titular zine that is like a judge's toolkit for running games in Elfland. Because if a lot of DCC folks have run the adventure Queen of Elfland Sun, where there's like a little hint at a certain point about like, ooh, you could go further into Elfland here and have adventures over there, and more to come in the sequel to this adventure. That was like 4 years ago now. It hasn't come yet. And there's also not a lot out there in general for like running games in the Elfland or Feywild or the land of the fair folk or whatever you want to call it. So I've struggled with that over the years, and I've like had the thought in my head of like I would love to do something to kind of solve that. I would, for myself and running games, and love to share it with others too. And I read the book The King of Elfland's Daughter, which similar title to the DCC module because also inspired by it. But I just found it super super inspiring. I listened to like I said read. I listened to the audiobook by when I'm like mostly taking my son on walks in his stroller. So I'd like come home and be like, please go nap. I want to write. Um, and I started writing a lot of tables and then realized I was like writing them in the almost like in the in much of the way that events go in the book, which is a very narrative feel. And I was like, oh, I've got like half of a like solo journaling game here. So I started looking at more of those, and like the table of contents is turned into like question prompts so that you can use this judge's toolkit, easy peasy at the table. But you also have all these prompts so you can like use it to make a pretty unique character that goes through, a series of adventure and either just have some fun, doing a little thing at the table by yourself, or like create a really cool character to have as an NPC in your game. But it's got like ways in and out of Elfland. It's got 6 different like adventure locales that
Ooh.
have like different types of, it's like 2 pages of text and 1 page of map slash art. And including that, they all have like some kind of random table, a situation, a description of like the kind of environment it's in, and then like some sub locations to just try to inspire some extra creativity, and 2 monsters that are either on the same side or maybe against each other or something along those lines. So some are a little bit more like there's one that's like basically a dungeon crawl, but there's another that's like a Fey art gallery
Ooh.
show, and there's another that I called like the Isle of the Banished Usurper that is like half inspired by like an island in the book The Knight of Swords by Michael Moorcock, and half inspired by like the fact that like the mythological character Medusa just really seems to get screwed over in her myth. Like she didn't do anything wrong to be like that.
Yeah.
Um, so there's that, and then I'm trying to pack a lot into it. So there's also 2 full adventures. One that's based off of like, what if we just gave the story Beauty and the Beast a bad end? He's always cursed. It doesn't get broken. He goes more and more insane. The furniture start just, it's furniture. It's a certain point instead of servants. They're barely there. And Beast is like trying to go out into the woods and find Beauty. He's not finding her. That that opportunity has passed. So he's just like getting upset when people scream at him and killing them. So it's all right. Players go to this like haunted mansion and try to sort that out. Um, and I based the map off of that, kind of off the Spencer Mansion from Resident Evil One.
Oh,
Um,
nice, nice.
so you're not gonna like be like, aha, I know where the secret is. But you're gonna, if you look at it, you'll be like, hmm. Uh, and then there's another adventure. Feel free to like cut in and
Oh
ask
no,
a question,
I'm
or
enjoying listening to.
otherwise I'll ramble.
Oh no, I'm enjoying listening to you talk. But I will say that Beauty and the Beast one sounds super up my alley. That's the exact kind of like dour shit I absolutely love. That just sounds like exactly what I want.
Yeah, it's definitely darker than the other adventures. And all the playtests I've had, people are loving it. They're just going, they're creeping into rooms, going, okay, we're trying to explore, we're trying to figure it out. Which piece of furniture is gonna like jump at us in this room?
That's really fun.
None? Okay, this was a safe room. Oh no, not.
No, that sounds amazing. But no, but please continue. I'm enjoying listening to what else is there because this is nuts. Like already the last one was super packed with a crap load of stuff in it. I mentioned it, but I'm not good at reading Kickstarters a lot of times, so I just thought it was just a scenario.
Yeah.
So I saw everything else in there. I was like, oh my god, how much did Stefan put in here?
Yeah, zines are supposed to be 32 pages. I always seem to make them like double that. Yeah, the other full-size adventure is well, Winnie the Pooh is public domain now.
Mm,
So it is a 100-acre point crawl. I made a joke like a year ago on the server of like, oh, 100-acre hex crawl, it's public domain. And everyone was like, that sounds dope, do it. And 100 hexes in the 100-acre woods was a little too much to bite off, but a point crawl I could do.
yeah,
Um, and the premise for that one is Christopher Robin is a famed author and playwright. He wrote the book Winnie the Pooh. So you can use, if you still got that book from when you were a kid, you can use it as a prop at your table. And
oh,
there's
that's
like a
great.
luck check whether or not the player characters read it or saw a play of like one of the stories or something. So some of the characters will be familiar and some won't. And you're all going to have fun kind of knowing things anyway. Um, but beyond that, the premise is, Christopher Robin has fallen into a magical slumber. It is a kind of fake curse. Uh, and people have kind of figured that out because at the same time that happened, fey creatures started coming out of the nearby forest, which is a normal forest or should be for, whatever that normal means in the context of your world. And there's some like random encounters that you can use in there to kind of, prelude that if you want, or use in the course of the adventure, just depending on your needs. There's
Hmm.
rumors, uh, but essentially it's the Lord Milne is offering, anyone who can solve this, you're going to get like 1,000 gold. You're going to get a war horse and be knighted. So, it's pretty good for the
Yeah.
players to go solve things, them to get intrigued. And it's go to Christopher Robin's house. A local Sirius is there, and either lick this frog that's been in his mouth or smoke this hookah. You got to go into that kid's and into that man's dreams. So it's a dreamscape adventure. You wake up in Pooh Bear's house,
Oh my
and
god.
basically some elves are in his front yard, like playing monkey in the middle with the last honey pot. Um,
This is like
Go solve
Christopher
that.
Nolan's Winnie the Pooh. This is
Yeah, Inception was a little bit of a
yeah.
for sure. And then it's so you find out what you're really involved in there, and it's basically all right for the rest of the session. Go, follow, go rescue as many friends as you can, and point crawl to piglets or rabbits or a Eeyore owl, and then at the end go to Christopher Robin's cottage, because you need to gather as many friends as possible to save Christopher Robin at the end. And some of them are some of the encounters are a little bit more like combat is more probable here, and some of the others are like you can probably just solve this by like being nice and the power of friendship.
That's great.
Because it's Winnie the Pooh, you should definitely have that.
Absolutely. No, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, that actually weirdly sounds like I think that's gonna be a winner. I think that I can already
Yeah.
think off the top of my head. I think 4 people who I would love to run that for. I think they would absolutely love that.
Whenever I mention like Winnie the Pooh adventure, like everyone's always just like, "What?
Yeah,
I want what? Tell me more."
I don't know
So
why
yeah,
it's so weird because I'm not like a Winnie the Pooh fan or anything, but for some reason I'm just like
yeah,
that just sounds awesome and like
yeah.
yeah, no, I think that sounds great. You should definitely do like at some point a Winnie the Pooh like 100 hex crawl or something. That's like a full project. That would be insane.
That would be.
That would take years off
I
your
I need
life.
to I need to be more passionate about Winnie the Pooh,
Yeah,
and I'll say like, there's like some things like Winnie the Pooh's public domain, but like Disney still has their stuff.
yeah,
No red shirt, can't
yeah.
have a red shirt, and Tigger's not allowed either. But there is like a random encounter. There's a series of large cats on bouncing tails. They're looking for their striped cousin. Rumor has he's been kidnapped by a mouse. Um,
I think that's far enough
So
away. The Kmart
yeah.
brand Tigger. I think they'll be fine.
Um, the last thing, there's a little pamphlet adventure that's a little funnel. I've run it a few times, and basically it's a funnel that you can do for 2 to 3 people, and you can finish it in like an hour and a half to 2 hours. So it's like a really really good just bite size intro to
Perfect.
DCC, where it's just like magical. You were traveling, going over a mountain, which you fell asleep for the night, woke up, horrible blizzard. This like winter witch in Elfland has kidnapped you and is forcing you. She wants you to literally mine out the literal heart of this volcanic mountain. So go do it or die in the blizzard. And if you don't, and if you stay in here and try to lollygag, she's got these things that'll take care of you too, as well as powers of her own.
Oh, that's
So it's
perfect.
and that's a in that funnel, it's got a little thing, consequences basically at the end, and maybe you'll probably find the heart of the mountain. What you do with it is your choice, and you may stay in Elfland or you may be able to get back home. So I wanted to also have a funnel for these two adventures that can take place in Elfland or can take place in the human world,
Oh,
but
okay,
a
cool.
funnel where you could actually start your campaign in Elfland, and you don't have to make something else up.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And also I'm a big fan of shorter funnels. There are some long funnels I do
Mhm.
like. Obviously, I think the classic one is Sailors, which can go long depending on
Yeah,
how you play, but I do like short funnels. I think they work best as like that one adventure to get them from 0 to 1 instead of splitting up between multiple sessions. So I think that's great to have.
absolutely. Yeah, they should be one session. I've run Sailors in 4 hours, and I've played in Sailors in 4 hours, but I've
Yeah.
also run it in 8 hours,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you have to do it at a pretty breakneck pace to do it in four.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. Also, one thing I haven't mentioned so far is that cover art for the zine is absolutely gorgeous. Who'd you say did the art for that?
That is Bruno Prosecco.
Okay.
He's a Brazilian artist. I found him. I think I just saw his stuff on Twitter. Oh, no, he did like a big thing for Dungeon Crawl Classics. It's like a very red thing. There's like dinosaurs and in a giant ape, and it's just a wild scene that I had as my computer wallpaper. And I found out he did it, so I approached him. He also did the cover for the Brimstone Cradle and the Hills That Hunger for Me. But more people have probably seen him from doing the cover of Knock issue 3. He's also going to do the cover for Knock
Oh.
issue 4. So if
Okay.
if folks know what that looks like, that's who's doing the cover, and he is so good.
Yeah, no,
I basically,
I love that cover
yeah,
art.
I basically like I was like, this is the theme. I kind of want to see like a guy on a journey on the front, and here's an inspiration like art piece that was like a picture. The piece I gave him was the cover art for King of Elfland's Daughter from the Ballantine Adult Fantasy printing, and he was like, and I just told him like, go with it. Whatever you think is cool will probably be cooler than what I could come up with because I'm not a trained artist.
Yeah.
And I was right to assume that he came back with something super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's usually how I approach it where I go, listen, you're the artist. You're going to know better than I what's going to look good. So this is what I want. But from there, go on. And honestly, he did a fantastic job. It does really. It reminds me a little bit like I got like some sort of like some like Greek vibes from it as well, where it just sort of feels very
Yeah,
classical, but also kind of weird and like also like 70s kind of like album cover. So I absolutely love that. And you need to get
yeah.
a
I was
T-shirt someday, Stefan. I know it's not the
in
cards are
my
now, but
mind.
someday.
It was like there should probably be like forests and stuff. Elfland. That's what I was thinking. Then he comes back, not that. It looks like ocean waves, ruins of past civilization.
Yeah,
I'm like, but that's so good.
yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll say I just set up like an Etsy store actually that has like some stickers and a T-shirt of the company logo, and hopefully there'll be more. But I don't got more yet.
No, I mean
We'll
merch
see
is
how
such
this
a
OGL thing pans out. Maybe my
yeah.
next Kickstarter will have to be patches and pins instead of an adventure or something.
Yeah, actually, it's funny because I was actually debating whether I was going to ask about this or not, but has because it's just a big thing right now. I've been trying to avoid it because it's as I think you agree with
It
me, it's getting a little bit annoying. But like,
it is.
does it affect you at all? Do you think, or you think you're going to be?
It so I did like a little I did like a little sneak release with the 1.0 A version of the OGL, so that it can be published before the cutoff date technically. If that's not good enough, I it's gonna if it has to get printed with the OGL, if that's what it comes down to, and hopefully it won't, honestly. But if it has to, It's going to be a page in the back of the book, and it's going to be the only thing on that page. And it's going to be a perforated page. I'm going to buy a perforating tool and do this to all of the copies. And right at the top, it'll be printed at the top, by touching and or looking at this, at this product, you agree to tear out this useless page that is meaningless.
That's
So if I have
amazing.
to put in the OGL, I will also disavow it at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's hilarious. And don't you also have a sticker that's potentially going to be a thing, or is that more just like
Yeah, no, I'm doing that. That's a stretch goal now. I
oh,
decided that like
amazing.
2 days ago. Yeah, a sticker that has like the OSR logo.
Yeah,
It's
I'll put
based
up
off
on
of
screen here for
and
everybody to
says
see.
like no WotC, no masters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a stretch. The first stretch goal is actually though, people will be able to hear it in the Kickstarter video, but Loot the Body, that band, which is like kind of prog rock 70s vibe to it. I messaged them. They've done some DCC stuff before. They, that people behind that like DCC and D&D in general. I was like, hey, I have no clue how much this would be. I've never had a song made before, but I got this thing. This is the kind of theme, a journey to Elfland. Could I commission you to make a song? It was like, and it comes down to yes, that is the first stretch goal. All the backers get an original song by
Oh
Loot
my
the Body
god.
because he went, yeah, oh, that's the theme, A Journey to Elfland. I do have this one song that I wrote lyrics for and worked on a couple years ago after getting inspired by reading The King of Elfland's Daughter, and I was just like,
Oh my
that's the same
god.
book. It's perfect. We got to do
That's
this.
amazing.
So that's the first stretch goal. Free song for
That
everyone
is
that I think
sick. I had no idea.
yeah, and I've got stretch goals built out for like more handouts, bookmarks based on the cover art, the no WotC sticker, the sticker of for the alternate, patch cover. Um, and I think my last stretch goal is getting a poster of the cover art.
Sweet. That's
So
damn, that's awesome, dude. I had no idea you were doing all that stuff. That's crazy. It's hard to keep up there with all the, news on the different
yeah.
discords and stuff, but like, my god, man, that's awesome.
Well, I've done this will be my fourth Kickstarter. Shipping a bunch of books and stuff. It's not the funnest activity in the
No.
world. So I my goal for this was like let's do everything at once. Let's make it a huge Kickstarter. People love huge Kickstarters anyway, and if we do everything at once, I only have to ship things once, and I love that.
Yeah.
Um,
No, totally. See, the real life hack is you have to wait for your child to get older and then have them help you pack all the boxes. That's the real thing you gotta do next
yeah,
time.
he just looks through. He likes looking at my DCC books, and he's just like all the art, and he's ooh, what's that? That's a robot. That's a lizard man. That's I don't know, a dragon.
Oh man, that's great. Is there anything else you wanted to say about the Kickstarter?
I guess just remind people like back it up, but it ships to US and Canada. My UK distributor is stopping doing that, so couldn't do
Mm.
that. But US and Canada, come and get it day one on the 17th of January, and you will get a free patch. If you wait until I think you'll be able to do it until like noon Central Time on the 18th, technically. So first 24 hours, really. But if you wait longer than that, you can still get the patch. But the special tier, the pledge tier is gone, so it'll be a little bit more
Yeah,
costly.
yeah.
But be there day one, folks.
Sweet. Awesome, man. Well, that's all we have time for today. But thank you so much, man. This is really fun. I'm really glad to hear about this. I'm actually like even more excited after the Kickstarter. I was really looking forward to it, but like I did not realize all the stuff that was in it. I thought it was just like a few scenarios and stuff. So I'm super pumped.
I want you to get excited when that comes in the mail.
Oh yeah, no, I will. Yeah, I will absolutely be excited for that. But yeah, thanks so much, man. This was great.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, and hey, glad to be friends, mods, and fellow gamer with you, man.
Yeah,
You're a fun guy
exactly.
to hang out with.
Yeah, I should also tell anybody who's watching that you should definitely join the Dungeon Crawlers Discord if you want more DCC stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of good conversations, but we schedule a lot of games on the Dungeon
Yeah,
Crawlers one, so it's a good spot for folks to get in and try it out or just game more or run more games.
exactly. All right, man. Well, so goodbye, everybody, and thank you for watching.